In preparation for the upcoming multiverse mashup that is Spider-Man No Way Home, I decided that it'd be a good idea to rewatch the Raimi and Webb films, since it had been a long time since I last watched them, and it'd be good to get a little refresher on Andrew and Tobey's characters before seeing them in No Way Home again, because they're definitely in it. So I started with the Raimi trilogy, and they were obviously top-tier superhero films, even Spider-Man 3. And then I went on to what I expected to be the tough part, The Amazing Spider-Man 1 and 2. I haven't watched those films since they released, and all I could remember was how, not good they were. But I went into the rewatch with an open mind, and, I didn't entirely hate them this time. Of course, the films weren't perfect, but I saw there was something more to these films than I noticed the first time I watched them. Something buried under the many, many bad choices of a studio that only cared about money. I saw a heart to these films that I didn't notice the first time I watched it. If you didn't know, the Amazing Spider-Man films are notorious examples of how much Sony interfered with the production of Spider-Man films, since, especially in the Amazing Spider-Man's case, movies were solely made to make money and to keep the rights of Spider-Man. In The Amazing Spider-Man 2, especially, entire characters are cut, important scenes are dropped, and everything is left feeling like an incoherent mess. But even with its problems, I still felt something when the film wanted me to. The movies are far from perfect, but it's obvious that Mark Webb and Andrew Garfield were trying to make a good story, an emotional story. The Amazing Spider-Man 1 had some incredible scenes, like the bridge scene, and some amazing ideas like Peter's struggle of not having a father, that were overshadowed by some of the more questionable choices. The art of Webb and the interference of Sony did not mix well, and it was even more obvious after The Amazing Spider-Man 2. Now, if I'm being completely honest, I actually kind of enjoyed watching Amazing Spider-Man 2. It was miles away from being perfect, like I said, but it had a heart. There's so many great emotional scenes and interesting ideas for a Spider-Man movie to tackle, and most of those scenes end up feeling pointless since it cuts so much from the movie. There's a scene well known from being cut from the film near the end where Peter's father would have reunited with him on a visit to Gwen Stacy's grave, and that scene was beautiful, but it never made it to the screen, which sucks, because the whole plotline of Peter learning about his father kind of fell flat after not being mentioned past the movie's halfway point. They cut the entire character of MJ and so many more great scenes for what? An Electro dubstep sequence? I feel bad for Andrew Garfield and Mark Webb. It's clear they wanted to make something truly great, and they definitely cared about what they were making, but Sony just didn't let them do that. We could have one of the most beautiful, emotional adaptations of a character that's so important to so many people, and Sony just threw it away because they wanted to sell toys. I love so much of these movies, but it's so hard to completely love them when there's so much in there that just isn't meant to be there. I love the action, the heart, and especially Amazing Spider-Man 2 suit design, but so much great stuff was cut that just left me thinking, what could we have had if Sony didn't interfere? We could have had the best iteration of Peter Parker. Andrew Garfield brought us all to make Peter feel relatable, and the character himself was written in a way that could have been one of the most accurate versions of Peter. Peter that can't catch a break, that causes his own problems, and is a little too cool for school. But most of all, we could have seen a Spider-Man that stands up after so much suffering, like in the Raimi films, like in the comics, like Into the Spider-Verse. We could have had something great, but it was taken from us. So now Spider-Man No Way Home is hopefully going to bring Andrew and Tobey back and give us another chance to see these characters. I'm excited for the movie, yeah, but I'm also a bit scared. I hear rumors that Webb and Raimi were involved, and I really hope that's true, because I want to see these characters done right. And in the case of Andrew, I want to see his character done justice. So hopefully after No Way Home, we do get to see more of Andrew Spidey, because there was definitely something great in his films that was just overlooked. Maybe one day we'll get an Amazing Spider-Man 3, but for now, we'll just have to wait and see.